Hello. I am Oxide.
And I'm DSM.
And we are the Connective. This month's theme is the Myers-Briggs test, which is basically 16 personalities.
There are basically 16 personality types. I had a better description. 16. And the idea is it's supposed to provide like a really in-depth analysis of who you are as a person, your pros and your cons, your strengths and your weaknesses, what kind of people, what other personality types you're most compatible with. We've already done the test before, but we're going to do it again for the sake of this video, and I'm really scared. I took the test last time and I came out as an ENFP, and I think that's extroverted, intuitive thinking perception? Something like that.
I'm INTJ, but taking the test again, it would be interesting to see if I get the same result. Now, spoiler alert, the Myers-Briggs website, the official one, decides that in order to take the test, you have to pay like £1 million. So we found another website.
It's called 16personalities.com. It's really good. It's got these really cute little illustrations for each
personality type.
Like yours is the architect and mine's the campaigner.
Because we don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm really scared that the results that we get are going to be really different, because funnily enough, the INTJ, which Toya is, and the ENFP, which I am, are two of the most compatible personality types, which explains a lot. Either way, we're going to take the quiz again. We're going to see if we get the same result. We're going to see if we're still compatible, because as you know, the results of this test will determine whether or not we will be living together. That's been the plan this entire time. I was going to let you know.
So I guess we see.
Yeah, alright, let's go.
On with the test.
Right. Alright. Let's get down with this face cam business. It's like a really shit let's play. Alright, so the website that I'm using to take the test is called 16personalities.com, like I mentioned in the intro, and this is what it looks like. So I guess really, now, I just better cut to the chase and take the damn test. Here we go. It's a really great little website. It's really nicely laid out. I really like the little illustrations. It's really easy to understand. It's just a few questions. They say it takes less than 12 minutes, and they don't really like you leaving neutral answers because they like to get a better read of your personality. So when you are taking this test, try to be as honest with yourself as you can. I'm not going to be going through every single one of the questions, as in I will be answering all of them, obviously, but I won't be reciting every single one of the questions here to you guys just because that would take forever. But I will be answering some of the questions that I find the most interesting, if that makes sense. Let's just do the thing. You often get so lost in thoughts that you ignore or forget your surroundings. I am terrible for this. I am an insane daydreamer. I am really easily distracted by everything. So I put not agree, the most agree, but the second most agree is the middle dot in the green. I'm really good at explaining this. You do not usually initiate conversations. I'm really bad at not initiating conversations. I like talking to people, I like finding out what they've been up to. I've always been a talkative person. So when I meet people who don't talk much, I find that really weird. I'm not gonna hate on them, that's just how they are, but I do find it really bizarre that there are people who could just go through life not interacting with others as much. That's really bizarre to me. I do try to balance it out. I understand that conversations are a two-way street. I'm not going to try and pester somebody. So I do kind of get into the habit of every time I initiate a conversation, I think, oh god, am I bothering them? I'm probably bothering them. I'm definitely bothering them. But at the same time, I understand that sometimes people just don't know what to say. So I'm definitely one to initiate things, yeah. You feel superior to other people. Now, this is something that I'm very kind of torn about. I didn't want to put neutral because I'm trying to avoid that. I put the smallest dot on disagree because for the most part I have really bad self-esteem. I really do not think very highly of myself. However, I do also know what I'm good at. I know that in some particular fields I might be better than a certain person, but I try not to let it kind of take over my life, if that makes sense. I try not to be a dick about it. I think everyone knows what they're good at to an extent, and you can usually look at it objectively and go, okay, I'm probably better than that person at this thing, and that person's better than me at that thing. But I try not to do the whole, oh, I feel superior to other people. I think the main time I do feel superior, for lack of a better term, is when I see a lot of ignorance and I think, oh my god, I'm so glad that I was educated, and I'm so glad that I'm willing to continually educate myself on this kind of thing, because ignorance really pisses me off. You are usually highly motivated and energetic. Energetic, yes. Motivated, not so much. I am a lazy shit. I'm the worst procrastinator ever. It's quite bad. But in my head, I'm so motivated to do these things. I always have an idea, and and things, but I don't know. I'm gonna be naughty. I'm gonna put that one in neutral. Don't tell anybody. You often feel as if you have to justify yourself to other people. This is probably the first big agree for me, like the big green dot. Because I'm constantly having to justify myself to other people. And by that I mean I feel like I have to. I constantly get it into my head that if I don't explain every minuscule element of a situation or an element of myself, that people are going to think the wrong thing. That people are going to think something about me that isn't true. Even if it's completely and utterly innocuous, like, I don't know, they think my eye colour is different. Anything like that. I get incredibly paranoid, I freak out, I absolutely hate people thinking something about me that isn't true, because the last thing I want is for people to think that I'm dishonest. So it's like, I don't want people to think certain things about me in case that leads to them thinking more things about me that aren't true. And it's just like, I think I've had it since I started secondary school. I started getting bullied due to rumours being spread, and I think that maybe kind of like cemented that worry in my mind, and it's something I've had real trouble shaking. So yeah, that's the first big green dot on this one. People can really upset you. Mate, I cry at pictures of kittens, alright? Do I look like the kind of person who's emotionally sound? It is often difficult for you to relate to other people's feelings. I think I'm the opposite of Toya in this respect, in that I feel a lot of sympathy towards people. If someone I know is going through a really hard time, I will make sure they're doing okay, because I know that that is the right thing to do, and also I do, you know, genuinely care about them. But when it comes to empathy, I'm really bad at kind of like putting myself in another person's shoes. God, that makes me sound like a real dick. By that, I mean, when someone says, can you imagine this? And for some reason it's really hard for me, because I'm there thinking, okay, I can imagine myself going through that, but would it be the same experience because it's, you know, them and not me, or me and not them? So it's kind of like, sometimes I guess I can put myself into that headspace and get a lot more emotionally invested in it, but a lot of the time it's definitely not something that I think I'm very good at. Your mood can change very quickly. As a parent, you would rather see your child grow up kind than smart. See, I'm gonna sound like a dick here, but like, I'm not saying kindness is a bad thing. I think it would be wonderful for a child to grow up with compassion in their heart and to become a wonderful person. But at the same time, I would definitely like them to be educated and willing to learn more about the world, and hopefully, if they are ignorant about a particular thing, they are willing to go, alright, I don't know about this particular subject, please teach me. So I suppose if they were smart, you know, they would be smart enough to know when to say the right thing and when not to be a dickhead. And when to sort of, you know, expand their horizons, try new things. I think the two can go hand in hand, really. I know a lot of people who are smart who are very horrible people, and I know a lot of kind people who are not the brightest bulbs in the box, and I know people who are both. So, I don't know, it's tough. I mean, I'd like my kid to be both, ideally, but I think, I don't know, I just think, it's tough, I'm bad at this. If your friend is sad about something, you are more likely to offer emotional support than suggest ways to deal with the problem. I'm terrible at advice giving. At least I think I am. I don't think I've experienced enough of the world to warrant being able to go, okay, you should try this, you should try that. I'll give advice where I can, obviously, but a lot of the time, I don't know, I feel like everybody else in the world has had so much more experience than I am. I just feel like really sheltered. However, if you just need a hug, because sometimes you don't want a lecture, or sometimes you want a hug prior to a lecture, then I'm your woman. You think that everyone's views should be respected regardless of whether they are supported by facts or not. Now, I'm all for free speech. There will always be views that I and everyone else in the world disagree vehemently with, and I am a strong advocate for backing up your arguments with facts. If it's an opinion-based thing, then that is the fact. Like, your opinion is, that's all the evidence you need. But when it comes to making an argument or accusing somebody of something, please, for the love of God, do your research. Oh my god. The amount of times I have seen people going, oh, well, this person's wrong, and this person did this, and oh my god, I can't believe you're standing for this person after everything that they've said and done, and I'm like, where's your proof? Not saying they didn't do it, I'm not saying they did, but if you want to look more credible and reliable, check your sources. You see yourself as very emotionally stable. I don't think anyone needs to know what I answered for that, do they? My personality type is ENFP. Okay, so this is the result I got last time, I'm pretty sure. Something on my tongue. I got the campaigner, which I was really happy with, because when I read this last time, the description of me was so freaking accurate. It was terrifying. It was amazing, but terrifying. It was like someone was looking inside my mind. So having a quick look at the stats here, in terms of my mind, I am 59% extroverted and 41% introverted. In terms of my energy, I am 69% intuitive and 31% observant. In terms of nature, 41% of me is based on thinking and 59% of me is based on feeling. In terms of my tactics, 18% of me goes for judging and 82% of me goes for prospecting. That's insane. That's like such a steep thing. But this one is probably my favourite. Identity. 6% of me is assertive. 94% of me is turbulent. 94%, wow. So people like me, ENFP, make up 7% of the entire population. According to 16personalities.com, people like me are shaped by their intuitive quality, allowing them to read between the lines with curiosity and energy. They tend to see life as a big complex puzzle where everything is connected, but unlike the analyst personality types who tend to see the puzzle as a series of systematic machinations, campaigners see through a prism of emotion, compassion, and mysticism, and are always looking for a deeper meaning. And that is something I definitely do, like for real. It's crazy, because I've always thought that everything is like kind of connected. Like I'm sure a lot of people do, but like I've always sort of I've thought about it, like I lie awake at night thinking, you know, what is the meaning? What made us? Are we connected? Is this connected to this and this kind of thing? And I've never really necessarily seen it as a kind of machine. I've always seen it as something kind of like living and breathing and, you know, relying on everything else that surrounds it to kind of stay alive. And I know that sounds like really hippie and something off the plot of Avatar, but that is kind of how I see the world. We are imaginative, we're open-minded, and we're seeing all things as part of a big, mysterious puzzle called life. That's definitely me. We're observant, we believe there are no irrelevant actions, that every shift in sentiment, every move, and every idea is part of something bigger. We're also excellent communicators. There's proof. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with how much the internet appears to like me. I guess I'll just have to let my friends do the judging and see how that looks. Coming on to my weaknesses. Whew, boy. We have poor practical skills. When it comes to conceiving ideas and starting projects, especially involving other people, campaigners have exceptional talent. Unfortunately, their skill with upkeep, administration, and follow-through on these projects struggles. Wow, this is just getting me right in the heart now. Without more hands-on people to help push day-to-day things along, campaigners' ideas are likely to remain just that. Ideas. I'm not even gonna argue with that. I'm the worst at doing things. We overthink things. Oh! Really? Campaigners do not take things at face value. They look for underlying motives in even the simplest things. It's not common for campaigners to lose a bit of sleep asking themselves why someone did what they did, what it might mean, and what to do about it. We get stressed easily. It's really hard to discuss my weaknesses with that son of a gun cackling on the other side of the room. I can hear you! I hear you snickering! All this overthinking isn't just for their own benefit. Campaigners, especially turbulent ones, which is me, 94%, are very sensitive and care deeply about the feelings of other people. A consequence of their popularity is that others look to them for guidance and help, which takes time, and it's easy to see why campaigners sometimes get overwhelmed, especially when they can't say yes to every request. I've definitely been there. There'll be days where I'm having maybe a bad mental health episode, or I've just got a lot on my plate, and nothing against the people who message me or whatever, but it always feels like I get 6 messages at the same time. It's like people know when I'm having a moment and they're like, that's the time I need advice. And it always happens and it's just really weird. Like I'm starting to think that, you know, our brains are connected, like something like that. Hey T, would you say I was highly emotional? Just a little bit. While emotional expression is healthy and natural, come join me. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not dressed.
With campaigners even viewing it as a core part of their identity, it can come out strongly enough to cause problems for this personality type. Particularly when under stress, criticism, or conflict, campaigners can experience emotional bursts that are counterproductive at best. Now I think I'm quite chill, to be honest.
You're not remotely.
And we're independent to a fault. This is a lie.
That's a complete lie.
I completely despise people, as you can tell. Even possessors of an altruistic wisdom that goes beyond draconian law.
Which is great.
What the fuck is that?
But if this one doesn't get micromanaged, nothing gets done.
So that's just my pros and weaknesses. I could talk about romantic relationships, and friendships and all that jazz, but I'm single and have one friend, so it's like... Few personality types are as creative and charismatic as campaigners. Known for their idealism and enthusiasm, campaigners are good at dealing with unexpected challenges and brightening the lives of those around them. There is so much more on the ENFP personality type, and I imagine every other one in this test that I could go into loads of detail on, but well, you'd be here a while. It's still crazy being able to read through this again, even though I took the test a couple of months ago, and constantly be amazed at how similar it is to me and how much it speaks to me. And I don't like saying that about a lot of things because it sounds really pretentious, but it really does. It really does. Just, it's so crazy seeing how much of me is reflected in the results of this test. It gets an idea of, you know, you figuring out where your strengths lie and what kind of people you get on well with, and maybe understanding why some particular relationships didn't work out. Obviously, this test is not something to completely live your life by. You don't have to follow it by the book. But it is a good idea of seeing that you're not the only one of your kind, getting an idea of where, you know, what kind of people you best to get on with, in case you still don't have an idea of that quite yet. But I really am glad that I took this test because it does I feel like, in a sense, it does kind of explain why I am the way I am in some regards, and I definitely agree with, Toya's results as well, because we looked at each other's and we were like, oh my god, this is definitely you. So yeah, I think that's everything from me for now. I think I've done everything. I am an ENFP. If you guys take the test, I'd absolutely love to know what you guys are. If there are any fellow ENFP people watching this, let me know. I'd love to meet more of you. But in the meantime, I have been DSM, and you have been fabulous as always, and you have been watching The Connective. Stay connected.